we would maximize our assimilation. Oh, it seems as if it rhymes. Minimize distraction and maximize assimilation. Okay, that sounds fair. All right, so again, the plan is to spend about 1.5 hours. After that, we would take questions, which is very key. You know, I love questions if you've ever attended any of my presentations. I also like feedbacks and testimonials. Feel free to ask and give us as much feedback as possible. All right, so let us dive in as usual. I hope, are we all good? Does anybody want to make changes so far to our house rules? Okay, no changes. All right, thank you very much. So let's dive in. All right, so today we're going to be looking at mail merge, and mail merge is actually, it's a way for us to send we can design emails in Microsoft Word, then compile a database with Microsoft Excel, like a list of persons, and stuff like that. Right. We can actually compile, okay, just hold on, let me just mute everybody. Okay, so we can compile a list of persons in Microsoft Excel, not just only persons. The thing with persons is that with that list is that we can have many other information, his name, his email address, his states, his anything we want, right? Any particular information that we want that is unique to that particular person, right? Now, we can now use all of that information to now generate a dynamic email, right? Now, the very, very, very interesting thing about that dynamic email is that we can say, let's say we have somebody, okay, we can now have an email that says, "Dear Mr. James," Mr. James, the field Mr. James came from the Excel table. We know you live in Lagos State, right? The Lagos State now comes from another field in that Excel table again. Thank you for your participation in our, let's say, Ikeja outreach, for instance, and Ikeja will probably be field again in the Microsoft Excel table. Then, so we'll just keep importing things from Microsoft Excel table and we'll now compose a mail, compose a mail that is just unique to that person. So the next person who's maybe he stays in Edo State, I can't remember the places in Edo State again, but he stays in Edo State. Instead of having Lagos State there, when we are compiling the email address for that person, would remove the mail merge, automatically remove the Lagos State and replace it with Edo State, since Edo State is unique to just that person's entry, right? Now, at the end of the day, when we finish compiling the entire mail from beginning to the end, we will now send those mails to the individual persons, to their individual email addresses. Now, before internet became very popular, right, in the 2000s, other countries usually use mail merge to do things like postal email, right? Now, instead of sending emails with that compiled list, right, they will just generate that list and then be printing different letters. They'll be printing different letters over and over and over and over. So each copy of each letter is unique to each person, right? Mr. Jai Martins. Good evening, Mr. Jai Martins.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, you forgot to mute your mic. Let me help you mute it. All right, thank you. Okay, so first of all, before we go ahead, I would like volunteers, somebody to volunteer people to volunteer their email addresses that we are going to use to run these tests. So first of all, before we go ahead, let me open Microsoft Excel and let me share my screen. All right, so I have Microsoft Excel open here. Sorry, just 1 second. Okay, good. So, okay, somebody wants to make a comment. Okay, so I have Microsoft Excel open here. We are going to compile a brief, let's say brief table, right? So let us have things like this. Let's have name, let's have state, then let's have email, and let's have, what else? What else is unique? Okay, let's just have these 3 fields: name, state, email, and I hope, can you see my, okay, let me zoom it out small. You guys can see my Excel sheet, right? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. Wow, okay. People were already donating their emails. Okay, let me unmute all. All right, so you can, okay, let me just copy some email address. So the volunteers will be name, state, and email address. Would use it to, okay, Chuku Prince, you said you can't get the volume of this presentation. Is it low? Hello. Okay, Chuku Prince, are you there? Okay. All right, so let's compile. Please, before you volunteer your email addresses, please know that this webinar is being recorded, and the possibility of the world seeing your email address is very high. So please just type your email address here. I mean, everybody is going to see it, both people you know and people you don't know, and it's a possibility for spam. Rachel Uzo, you said you can't hear me. That's odd. Rachel, Rachel, are you there? Okay. Yes, Rachel is sorting things out. All right, so are we, Mr. John Bassey, I can see you are volunteering your name already. I hope you can go ahead and use your name.
Yes, please.
I don't think John Bassey minds. All right, no problem.
Yes, you can.
So, all right, let's go ahead. Mr. John Bassey. State is Akwa Ibom. We just need maybe like 5 or so, but about five or so entries, so we can move forward. Mr. John Bassey has volunteered his name. Who else? Bling Onyema. That's much. You guys should take it easy. Oh, John Bassey. Okay, so we have John Bassey. Next name let me see if I can just get a few names. Okay, here's the chat. I need name, state, and email address. So Bling Onyema. Bling Onyema is from Ekiti, and his email address is quite long. Why are we getting all this? All right. Who else? Anieti is from Akwa Ibom. Let me just be typing it myself. So we just need about 5. So maybe just 2 more. Aniecie. Anieti is from Akwa Ibom. Okay, and his email address is annie.amity@yahoo.com. Okay, who else? Temitope. How come it's only Akwa Ibom representing today? Temitope is from Benin. TFANAYJO @yahoo.com. Who else? Okay. Ota Gogo Ibiku is from Delta. Just leave it at Delta area. TASSYBLUE @yahoo.com. Abby, you said you can't hear me. It's surprising. All right, so we have 6 names. Do we have any more volunteers? All right. Great Alabi from River States. Great Alabi. Where's Great Alabi? Alabi great@gmail.com. Then we have Clara. Claire. Chidima is from Akwa Ibom again. Interesting. DINMACLARE @gmail.com. Okay, let's just put Bello from Ade Bayo. Bello is from Lagos, and Kani_Bello @yahoo.com. All right, I think this is fine, right? So now we have a list of names, states, and email addresses, right? Let me just add a little fancy to this guy. Okay, so now here's what we are going to do. Let me just make this the same font size just to be sure. Now, here's what we are going to do. We are going to compose a mail using these 3 fields, right? So the mail is going to be like a template, like a blank template, right? Or a dynamic template, that's the word. So where it has name, it will come and pick name from here, add it to the template. It will come and pick states where you need state, add it to the template, and then it will send it to these email addresses, right? Now, let's start the dance. First, I want to save this file on my desktop, and let me call it state database. Now, take note of this name because we are going to call it up very soon, right? Okay, save. Now, the next thing I will do is that, so is everybody okay so far? There are no issues. Otagogo, I hope you are fine. Okay, fine, good. Who else? Who else can I see his video? Okay, I can't see so many videos. All right, so let's open Microsoft Word. In Microsoft Word, that's where we are going to design the email that we want to send. So let me share my Microsoft Word screen. Okay, there we are. So what we will do now is, in Microsoft Word, we would now write the email that we want to send. So if we now say something like, dear, well, we're going to add the person's name here, right? So let me just put this here, right? Thank you for, let's see, what are we going to write? Thank you for your participation in our outreach held in, then let's see, we'll have states here. We're going to make this a dynamic field, states, right? So if it's Lagos, we're going to have here, we would now have Lagos states. If it's Akwa Ibom, we'll have Akwa Ibom states. Delta, we'll have Delta states here, right? Now, let's finish up this email. I hope you had a refreshing time, and we hope to see you later. Oh, sorry. See you in our next event. Thank you. Signed, Mr. James. Let's say we can call Mr. James Program Director. I mean, he has to be a big boy now. So again, we'll now add some styling to this particular, this is how the mail will look, but let's add some styling. Let's say there's no spacing here. We come and put a phone number plus 234 0803 4, let's see, 419 6660. Aha. So this is Mr. James' email address. Please don't call this number. It belongs to an actual person, no matter how ridiculous it looks. Okay. So what else? We may need to write a signature in the mail in some cases, but let's just maybe just use this very, very simple email to illustrate what is going on here, right? Now we have our mail set up, right? Let me save the mail first of all. Let me save it on my desktop and call it outreach letter. Yes. So now we have two components now all set up. We have database, a list of people we want to send the mails to. We have designed an email, right? We've designed the letter we want. Mr. Oni, you can't hear me. That's sad. Can everybody hear me here?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, Mr. Oni, I don't know what's going on, but two things. Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so everybody's hearing. Mr. Oni, maybe check your volume or check your connection. But whatever the situation, I'll definitely send you a recording of this. Okay. Even Dorothy. Oh, okay. So I'll send the recording again. I'll send the recording of this, right? So just to be sure that everybody has this. All right. So now we have two components of our mail merge has been sorted out, right? We have the database lists, right? We have the database list, and now we've designed the email. Now the next thing we are going to do is to set up what we are going to use to send the email. Now I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Microsoft Outlook or Outlook Express or any other mail exchange application? Anybody? Maybe you probably use Outlook in your office. Okay. Okay. Bola Adeoba uses Outlook. Oh, Pearl. Okay. All right. So if you, just in case you don't use Microsoft Outlook is a mail exchange program, but it's pretty much simple. So let me just briefly, very briefly, go over Microsoft Outlook. The setting up of Microsoft Outlook is usually done by your IT unit, but just in case you don't use Microsoft Outlook, let me just briefly show you what it is, or how you can set up Microsoft Outlook, I guess. Yes. Okay. All right, this is my Microsoft Outlook already set up, right? If you do not have Microsoft Outlook set up in your offices, Microsoft Outlook should have been set up by your IT department on your system. But just in case you don't have it set up, this is a program that would actually do the sending of the email. Let me see. We can easily set up a new account here, right? Just click on new, and then it just asks you one or two simple questions. Now, the fastest and the simplest way to handle this is if you just click next, you just come and type things like your name, right? Your name here, then your address. You type your email address here, and then you type your password once and you type it twice again, right? Now, if you type your password here and you type your password here, by the way, that's not my email address, and you click next, right? Outlook is supposed to automatically configure your account, right? It automatically set up, it will go and search for address, pull settings from the server, and then configure Microsoft Outlook. All you have to do is now click on finish and it moves forward, right? Now, that's just a very basic way of setting up Microsoft Outlook. Now, if it does not find that connection information, we'll have to now come here and start selecting manually configure your Outlook account, and then you now have to now enter some other plenty information. Now, this setup is usually done by your IT because they need to set up incoming mail server, outgoing mail server, and some other security things, in more settings. But let's just assume that many of us already have Microsoft Outlook set up, right? I don't know whether I should do that. Maybe I should have done that first. Now, when we have the account set up, the account we want to set up, now you can see my setup here. I have multiple accounts, right? So the account you want to use to send the email has to be the default, right? You need to set it and now click on set as default, right? In this, my example, I already have a default account, and that is what I want to use to send this email, okay? All right, so let's move forward. Okay, Chuku Prince, you said you don't really use Outlook. You can actually use Gmail. You can set up Gmail on Outlook or Microsoft Outlook. It's very simple. Just copy mention settings from the Gmail, I think it's settings tab, or either help or settings tab. You just copy the connection settings and you enter it. It's very simple and straightforward. It's not a big deal. But let's just quickly run through before then. If we now have more questions on Microsoft Outlook, we would now go back. So the next thing we want to do now is that we want to go back to our letter. This is where the fun begins, right? You guys should pay attention. If you're not paying attention now, this is the time to do it. Now, the first thing I want to do, right, is I want to go to mailings on my Microsoft Word. I want to go to Start Mail Merge, select on email messages. Now, you can actually do mail merge for letters, emails, envelope letters, directory, but our focus is email messages because that's what we want to set up as at now. So let's click on that. Now it does nothing, right? Is somebody confused? I don't think somebody is confused. Okay, Ayodele, you can set up, you said, can I set up Microsoft Outlook with my, yes, you can, actually you can. Once you have the settings, it's pretty much straightforward. All right, so back to our connection. We've selected mail, start mail merge, and we've selected emails. Next thing we need to do is we'll go to select recipients, right? And we'll go to use existing lists. Remember the name of our database. This is where we'll need it. I kept it on the desktop and I think it was state database, right? So we'll find the location of our Excel sheet and we'll select it and open it. Now we have selected and it's asking us, do you want to select sheet 1, sheet 2, or sheet 3? Remember, this Excel sheet has 3 sheets, right? Okay, so we leave it on sheet 1. Now, this checkbox here is asking, first row of data contains header volumes, right? Now, you remember that in our Microsoft Excel, the very first thing we wrote is name, states, you get name, states, and email, right? You can see it here, name, state, and email. So technically, this is a header value. This is a header, right? Describing what is going on here. So by selecting that box, it will jump this first line, and then it will now just start our entries from the second line until it gets to the end, right? I hope there's no confusion so far. Okay, so does anybody have any confusion so far? Okay. Okay, all right, good. Nobody has confusion. So let's go back to our letter, right? Where we told it to select the first sheet, right? That's where our data is. Now, click on OK, and that is done. Now, the next thing we want to do is that we want to import each field. Where we have name, we want to import each field from each row and put it in this letter. Where we have states, we'll import it from that field and put it in this letter, right? Sorry, each entry. So we want the name to be here, right? So let us delete this guy and come and do insert merge field, right? We'll click on this small stuff and then we'll now click, you can see name, state, and email has showed up according to that our header that we have initially specified. Simply select name here and it shows up as this small funny looking text. We go to where we have state and repeat the same thing. Insert and we click on state. Then we have, put a state space there. All right. So now we've entered the name value, we've entered the state value, right? But now it's just as if we are doing a small program. You remember in mathematics, they will say, let the name be equal to X and let the state be equal to Y. Then they'll say, dear Mr. X, you are now supposed to remove the X and now replace it with states. This is your state, or this is your Y. You now remove the Y and replace it with state. So it's something similar to what we are doing here, right? All right, so does anybody have any confusion so far? Because this is where things are about to happen. If you have confusions, please just maybe say something or enter it in the chat. Okay, Adiola said, does it mean MS Word recognizes Excel columns as sheets? Okay, first of all, remember we have imported, the first thing we did is that we came and we imported that Microsoft Excel file, Excel table, right? When we did use the existing list. So the fact that we have imported into this Microsoft Word means that the Microsoft Word has now taken that data and it has now put it in its memory, and it's now waiting for you to tell it what to do with each of those entries. You get? So if we do not do that initial importing, it will not give us, we will not have that recognition. You will not recognize that the data from the Microsoft Excel, right? Adele, I hope that, does that clear it? Okay, all right, fine. It clears it. Now, let us briefly preview what we are about to do, right? What we are about to send. Now, to preview everything, we'll just come to this place, preview results, right? Now, if we click on preview results, we'll see a sample or samples of what we are to send. Now, remember this guy is still showing this funny stuff and this state is still showing this funny stuff. So let's click on preview results and we'll see this has changed and this has changed, right? So you can see our first entry was John Bassi from Akwa Ibom State. So the John Bassi letter or John Bassi email now reads, Dear John Bassi, thank you for your participation in our outreach held in Akwa Ibom State. I replaced the Akwa Ibom State. I will now replace Akwa Ibom or Y with Akwa Ibom. I hope you had a refreshing time. We hope to see you in our next event. Thank you, Mr. James. Now, if we come here and click this small arrow here, this small arrow shows us next record. So if we click next record, we'll have Bling Onyema from Ekiti State. We'll click the next one. We'll have a native from Akwa Ibom. We'll click the next one, Temitope from Benin. We'll click the next one, Otaho from Delta States. So we just keep clicking and you just keep seeing all the records until you get to the very end, which will be number 908. All right. Now, if we had selected, let's say, letters, what would have happened is that Microsoft Word will now generate this total number of letters. And if you now print the letters, it will now start all the letters by one by one. Then we can now fold this, maybe package it and send it as a hard copy to the person we want to send it to, right? Is anybody confused so far? Okay, so we're about to send the mail. Now we have previewed the mail. We have previewed everything and everything is now fine. Now the next thing we are going to do to finally send the email is to come here, finish and merge. And now do send email messages. Now remember I talked about print. See, this is the option to print documents, but let's just focus on our email messages, which is what we are going to do. Now, again, in this small dialog box, we have several options. The first thing is to select the email address. Now, Microsoft Word has already recognized the word email and it has already selected it by default. But in case your email is labeled something else, we can come and choose whatever it is. Remember, we have name, state, and email. So if it is in state column, we can put it there. If it's in the name column, we can put it there. But since it's in the email column, it will be there waiting for you. Then in the subject line, this is now where we will now put our subjects, right? So in the final email, it will send this Microsoft Word mail merge will send an email to the email address we have on the record, giving it the subject, and it place the name and the state in the respective places, compile it or merge or compile, I don't know, compile it and then email it to this guy, right? So now let us try a very, very simple thing. And let's say our subject can be, let's say, reply on outreach events. Okay. Right. So If we press send now, right? If we click on OK to send to all records, right? It would now send the email to all its entries, right? Now, let's watch what is going to happen. I'm about to click on this. I'm clicking on OK, and then it is sending. You can see it's looping through, and it has finished its sending. If we quickly jump to Microsoft Outlook early enough, we should be able to see, can we get it? Did we get it? No. We should be able to see it sending the emails. Okay, it has sent them already. The emails are not much, so it has sent them already. So if you come to the sent item, meanwhile, you will see, let me see, where's, aha. Okay, sorry, just 1 second. Let me just be sure. So everybody who is on that list should have gotten an email, that email that we have just sent. Could you guys confirm? Bas gotten the email. Otagogo, have you gotten the email? Otago, have you gotten the email?
Yes.
Okay, can you share your screen?
My screen.
Using a phone. Otago, we can see you. Sure, you know.
Yes, I know.
Like very well, fully, everything.
I'm coming. Let me see. This is the email. Okay. Sorry, I'm cooking. I'm doing the same, doing everything at the same time.
I understand. I understand. You guys like her name, Abi?
You disable my. I can't. Now I said host disable attendance screen sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me see if I can enable that. Okay, that may be a little bit difficult.
Yes, it's disabled. I can't share my screen.
Yeah, let me see if I can just fix that, if it will work. Okay, try it again now.
Okay.
Oh, I think I just saw it. Okay, I think I just saw it. Has it worked? Has anybody else gotten the email in the meantime?
No.
Basi Bling, Temitokpe, Great Alabi, Claire. Otagogo is not working, right?
I can't even see the email. Is not. I've not gotten the email.
True.
I haven't gotten the email. Check it on my phone, so it's not here yet.
I've not seen the email. Okay, let me just check and be sure that everything is fine. Just hold on 1 second.
Okay.
can't hear you guys.
Okay. All right. So I have the email being sent currently. A second. Okay, Otagogo, can you check your spam?
Okay, let me check.
So nobody else has gotten the email? All right, so let me just show you guys what.
There is no audio.
I can hear, but I don't know. No, I haven't gotten it. No, not in my spam.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what's going on there. I guess you use Gmail, otagogo@yahoo.com. Blue@yahoo.com is your email, right?
Someone has gotten
Yes.
the mail already.
Okay, who has gotten it?
Bello.
Okay, Bello. Bello, how far?
Okay, I just got it. It's okay, I've gotten it.
Okay, so can you share your screen, Otagogo?
Let me go to my email on my screen and open it there.
Oh, Bello, can you share your screen?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Bello has shared his screen. Fantabulous.
Share. Go.
Yes, so Bello is giving us the breakdown. Voila. So here Adebayo Bello. Thank you for participating in our outreach program held in Lagos State. I hope you had a refreshing time, and we hope to see you in our next event. Thank you, Mr. James, Program Director. Okay, so now does any who is can we have one class Oyeyemi? Is the comment coming from you? Mr. Oyeyemi? Okay, I think he's having certain domestic issues. All right, so now, so do we have any other questions? Any questions from the mail merge, from the mail merge process?
No.
Oh boy.
No.
I don't know if you can just run it through again.
Okay. From where? Where do you want me to start from?
From where you started from the mailing. When you clicked on mailing.
All right. Okay, fine. No problem. That will be fine. Okay. All right. Let's do that mailing again. Okay, so here's my screen, right? And this is where the fun started. First thing we did start mail merge, right? And then we selected email messages, right? Now, after selecting email messages, we now went to select recipients, right? And then we went to use existing lists, right? Click on new use existing list and go and find our Microsoft Excel file. We call it state database, right? And then selected it and we selected open. It's taking a bit of time. Okay. Now, when you select open, it asks you which sheet is your information on, right? Is it on sheet 1, sheet 2, or sheet 3? Our information is on sheet 1. It will now ask again, the first row of the data, does it contain column headers? We'll select tick it if it contains column headers, and we will say, okay. Now, at this point, we have loaded our information into Microsoft Word. Then we now insert merge fields, right? Now let's do something different. We already have name inserted here. We already have state inserted here. So let's add another text. Let's see, since your name is, we come and insert name here. And then we now say, and you live in, we now come and start here, put a comma and say, the email address we have on file for you is, and we come again and insert email address with a full stop. Kindly verify that this information is correct, right? Let's dress this up a little bit. Okay, so we've added some other texts, you know, just to demonstrate this insert mail merge fields again. We can also add some styling here. We can come and make sure program director is a different color. Can make refreshing time to be something bluish, you know, just to add a little spice to the original email. Now, all these stylings will be visible if your email is showing in HTML format, but don't worry about that. It's a simple thing. So at the end of this, we'll now come and click on preview results, and you see a preview of everything we've just done, right? Now, dear John Bassi, thank you for your participation in our outreach held in Akwa Ibom State. I hope you had a refreshing time. We hope to see you next time. Since your name is John Bassi and you live in Akwa Ibom State, the email address we have on file for you is this. I don't know why it's giving me this extra space, but let me just, okay. Kindly verify that this information is correct, right? Okay, then come back again to finish mail merge, send email messages. It's where we are going to click. Make sure we have the two selected in the right email field, right? Then we'll write the subjects here. Maybe we can call the subjects outreach event information updates, right? See that mail format I was talking about? Mail format is HTML. Leave it at HTML. Don't leave it as plain text or attachment. Plain text would remove any formatting you have here, but HTML will still make it look a little beautiful. For example, if we do plain text, we will not have this red here and this blue here, right? So let's just quietly, gently leave it on HTML and reduce problem. So we are sending to all records. To select send to current record or from one record to the other. Now, usually when I use mail merge, I like to test it first to make sure that my email is okay. So when I'm testing, I will just, first of all, I'll add my own email address into the list. Then I will just come and select my own information, my email address here, and then I'll send to myself first. Then check the email, make sure everything is formatted very well and all that. Once it's formatted very well, then I'll now come and send to all records, right? So once again, we are sending this email to everybody. If we click OK, you see everything is jumping up and down. If I can share this fast enough, if you come to Outlook Express, you will actually catch the mails being sent here. See, now this is the out box of Outlook Express, and you can see the mails that will now be sending one by one. If it sends to leave this place, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 emails. See, it has reduced to 3, it has reduced to 2, it has reduced to 1, and it's vanished. So it has finished sending all the mails. So all of those emails that we have on file now, right, they have all been sent. You get it? And if you come to the corresponding out box, sent item here, you will see all the emails. Dear Bling Onyema, this is the email that Bling Onyema has received, right? This is an email. This is Temitokwe's email. And so it just sends all of these one by one until it gets to the end. Okay? Are we good so far? Any further points of confusion? Okay, if you want to just send to Ola Onwale, if you want to send to just 4 people out of 6 persons on your list, I think it's probably a good idea to maybe sort them in some kind of order, right? Olawale said, how do you send to just 4 persons out of 6? More like select some people in the list and just send the email to those people. Now, it's also very simple. What I would do is I would just sort them by some kind of order before I even import them at all into Microsoft Word, right? So I'll know those people will be from, maybe they'll be from number 1 to number 4, right? And I would just select, okay, Chuka, I'll come to your question. I'll just select send from number 1 to number 4. Now, you may have a large, it's people from different, say, departments, for instance, right? So you may want to sort by department, and maybe you want to send that email to everybody in sales. So you sort by departments, and then you now look for the sales guys. The sales guys are from number 1 to number, let's say, 15. Then in your sending, you just select from entry number 1 to entry number 15, and that's the end of it. It will just send to those guys. Okay, Chuku, you said, so Outlook is to monitor the movement of emails sent. No, actually, Outlook is actually what does the sending of the email, right? From Outlook, you can receive emails. For example, if you've connected your Yahoo account to Microsoft Outlook, right? What happens is, once you get an email in Microsoft in Yahoo, right, and then you open Outlook and refresh, Outlook will now pull a copy of Yahoo to itself. So you can read that mail on Yahoo, right? And if you want to reply, you can just press reply and reply it directly. So it's not just to monitor the movement of email. It's actually like a mail exchange application instead of having to go and read the email on your web. Okay, so let's just take a few more questions. Bling Onyema, confirm receipt of your email. Okay, so has anybody, Agogo, have you gotten a new email?
Yes, I have.
Okay, all right, cool. Can you share your screen?
Okay.
While she's putting together her screen sharing, does anybody want to ask a question, another question? Okay, Chinedu Chukwu is sharing his screen. He's showing us his most secret. Chinedu, what happened now? Okay, Clara Chidima, yes, correct. So there we are. Clara Chidima says, thank you for your participation in our outreach, blah, blah, blah. Is also, since your name is Clara Chidima, we got that correctly, and you live in Akwa Ibom, the email address we have on file for you is dimaclara@gmail.com. Kindly verify that the information is correct. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So is this clear? Does anybody have any more other questions regarding mail merge? Clara
Yes, I asked the question.
Fantastic. Okay, right?
I asked the question.
I can't remember. Clara, we can see your full screen right now.
Mr. Nweke, please, I asked the question.
I'm trying to, is it about the letters?
Yes.
What was the question again? Let me see if I'll find it.
You said something about if we were to print them as letters and distribute, what do we do?
Okay, if you were to print them as letters, it's a totally different thing. Instead of selecting emails, we would select letters. Let me see if I can briefly share the screen. We would start it. No, we will not even, everything we've done now will not do it. Everything we've done now from when we came to select start mail merge. So you remember we started from selecting email letters, images. So if we were to print letters, we would have to now come and select letters here instead. Then we'll just repeat the same sequence. But then at the end here, we will now print documents instead of having to print email messages. You get? Like,
Okay.
for example, if your company wants to do mass termination, they want to sack like 200 people at the same time, you will just import their and then come and letters. We'll select the data, the name of the file. We'll now insert the merge field here. Just do the same thing, but at the end here, we'll now print simply select print documents. Then it will, of course, to connect to your printer, and it will just once you select print all records, your printer will start going crazy. Just print out 200 letters at once, page by page.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do we have other questions? Can you give us the data values for setting up Microsoft Outlook? I haven't gotten it. I've not got it set up on my laptop. Okay. All right. Maybe send me an email. I'll send you the configuration depending on what you have. I don't know who you are. Okay, so do we have other questions? Your mics are now on mute. Anieti. Anieti, are you with us? You
Yes.
need some. Okay, all right. All right, so questions. Anieti, your mic is on.
I don't have any question at the moment. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I hope is anybody else confused or Agogo, you're good, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So it appears today was that I'm actually surprised you guys don't have any questions because I was expecting, well,
It's simple.
Apart from the setting up the Outlook.
It's straightforward.
Except
Except if you want
the setting of the Outlook, that's going to be a problem. The setting of the Outlook.
if you want to teach us how to set up Outlook.
Okay, you know what? Does anybody not have Outlook on his screen? Let's set up your own laptop right here, right now. Somebody asked about ITEL.
Okay,
who does not have Outlook? So that, okay, who just spoke? Pearl, okay. All right, so Pearl, let's see. Your email is what, Gmail or Yahoo? Pearl, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. You said what?
Okay, your email, is it Gmail or Yahoo?
I have both.
Okay, or maybe you want to set up your company email.
No.
I think setting up your company email will be easier.
Okay, I don't have a company.
Because I Gmail and Yahoo, they have some funny settings. I need to verify what it is. Yes.
So what do we do now? I don't have a company email. I mean,
okay,
a company.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find the setup for. Let me see if I can find the setup for Yahoo. You guys should just give me one. Just give me a minute. Let me see if I can find the setup. Wow. It's going to take a bit of time right now. And I don't think you guys can. Okay, all right. Who else? Who else can we practice with that has a company email? Okay. let me set up with one of my emails. All right. So this is press. Forget about everything you see here, right? So let's set up with. I will come to tools and account settings. I will come to new. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, Galaxy Amaka Galaxy A2 core. Where's Galaxy A2 core? Okay, all right, let's just continue. Let's just quickly set up. I would go to tools. I will go to account setting. Oh, by the way, this is Outlook 2007. I'll come to new. Then I will simply do, I will leave it on Microsoft Exchange, POP3, IMAP, or HTTP, right? I'll go to next. Then I would go to write my name is Mr. Nweke. Email address, hello@hotelmoney.ng. Hope I remember the password. Okay. So at this stage, Outlook is trying to establish connection and try to test to see it would, first of all, establish internet connection. Then it's now try to pull server settings, and then it's now just set it up automatically. You get, I just hope I got that password correctly, because if I didn't get it correctly, it will fail here. Then once it's able to pull the server settings, it will just now log in directly. Okay, I think something is wrong. Okay, let me use a different email address. Okay, just hold on 1 second, gentlemen and ladies. Okay, very good. All right, very good. So first of all, let me just show you guys this, just in case it's familiar to you. Now, I've successfully logged into one of my old emails that I no longer use, right? I'm sure many people will be familiar with this webmail. Many of us may be familiar with this webmail. Right? Now, if you just scroll down to this webmail, you see a whole bunch of settings here. These are the settings that we would use to set up the Outlook Express when required, right? Now, real quick, let me just go to Outlook and set up tools, account settings, new account.
Lloyd, just your name.
Booking@cadasso.com.
Allez vers Richard là. Vas-y. Oui.
Okay, I think I got the password correct. So now if my login details are yes, so my login details are correct. It has established network connection. It has found the server settings and it has pulled them and it is logging on to server to send a test email. So if I click, do you want to continue using this server? I click yes, it will just have set up everything. Very, very simple and very easy. Right? Okay. Now, it has, as it is now, it has set up everything, right? I can now simply come and click on finish and I would have my email set up down here as the very last one, right? I can open it and I decide to maybe style some more. You see it has adulterated my name here. Important, email address is correct, server settings is correct, outgoing settings is correct. I'll just come and do some styling here and styling here. So everything here is fine. Now I'll click OK, next, finish, right? So I've just set up in just few seconds, right? I've set up this email, my email here. Again, for this mail merge, it has to be, if it's the only email in this list, you don't have a problem. But if it's not the only email, you need to set it as default before anything. Now, if you come down here to this list, this is the list of all the boxes I have set up here, the email boxes I have set up here, right? So you just simply scroll and look for the email we just set up. Okay. And you can see it's already pulling email from the server and you can see it's already pulling the emails, right? So that test email that we set up initially, that test email that Outlook sends is this first email here. So every other thing is just pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, right? Okay, so do we have any questions? Okay, so are we fine with everything so far?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So if you have any questions, I'm even surprised. Well, this is surprising. All right. So in the absence of any questions, we have currently exhausted our scheme of work for today.
Et ta maman va te donner quelque chose pour moi. Et le téléphone aussi, tu amènes le téléphone de Richard aussi.
We'll talk later. Okay, so we've currently exhausted our scheme of work for today, right? If Oni Olawale said, may I ask if I'm to write to different companies? Yes, it's the same thing. If you want to write to you want to send out or something, it's just almost the same thing. Once you get their data, maybe the name of the person you are addressing it to, the email address of the person you are addressing it to, you get, and maybe some basic information, you just repeat exactly the same thing. Even if you don't have, maybe you just want to send a generic email without personalizing it. Once you have their email address, you can just do the same thing. Just send the same letter to use mail merge and send to multiple email addresses, just like we've done. In that case, you don't need to say dear Mr. something, or maybe you can say attention the manager or hello the manager or something of the sort. You said, Olawale, is your audio working? Olawale, can you unmute, please? Olawale, can you hear me? Okay, Olawale seems to be having a bit of connection issues. But Olawale, if you can hear me, you can actually write to different companies, right? You in that case, you will not need to have dear Mr. something, or you are coming from this state. You just, compile the list email addresses and then you use mail merge and just send to them. It's just very simple and also very straightforward, right? So do we have other questions? Other questions before we wrap up? Magnanimous. Magnanimous, we are healing. Magnanimous, we like your setting. Okay, all right. So in the absence of any questions, I believe we can call it a day today. We'll probably also have another session next week around this time. But
on our side,
in the meantime, maybe if there are other things, you want to talk about, maybe just make a suggestion or bring it up or something of the sort, and we'll talk about it by next week, Saturday. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate your time. I think at this point we can say good night, unless somebody wants to say a closing prayer. Otagogo.
Yes.
I'm always calling your name. Don't mind me. I like the name. You want to say a closing prayer or vote of thanks?
Vote of thanks.
Well, I don't know. I'm not.
Really, am I supposed to pray?
All right. Nah, don't worry. I'm sure there are some Muslims and some pagans here, so don't worry.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's just keep it neutral.
Yes.
Let's keep it neutral. It's fine that way.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the recording of this session will be available. I will email it to you, and feel free to ask questions. And so, at this point, thank you for attending, and good night.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah. Bye.